Wife sent a 2 a.m. text saying, "Tied up right now, I'll call you later." I responded, "Don't. Stay where you are, you're cut off." 15 minutes later, she was pounding on the door. She was fixing her ponytail at the bathroom sink when I walked in from work with takeout and plans for a decent movie night. Nothing fancy, just Tuesday on autopilot. The kind of evening that doesn't need planning because it's been the same comfortable routine for 3 years. I held up the bag from the Thai place 2 blocks over. Got the spicy noodles you like. Extra peanuts. Pick anything that doesn't have explosions or time travel and we're good. She didn't turn around. Didn't even glance at the bag. Just kept working on that ponytail like it was an engineering project with a deadline. Can't tonight. The girls are doing this coffee thing at that new place downtown. You know how it is. Drama, gossip, therapy without the copay. Her voice came out quick and clipped, like she'd rehearsed the line during her lunch break. Practiced it in the car on the way home. The ponytail went higher, tighter, almost aggressive with how she yanked it into place. Her hand trembled just enough that the eyeliner smudged at the corner. She cursed under her breath and grabbed a cotton swab to fix it. Don't wait up. That phrase hit different. She'd never said that before. Not in 3 years of marriage, not even during her girls' weekends or the conference she went to last spring. This was new territory. She wasn't scared. She was watching a clock I couldn't see, worried about being late for something that mattered more than takeout and Tuesday nights on the couch. If I'd known where this whole thing was headed, I would have skipped the noodles entirely. Would have installed a better lock on the front door that same night. Would have saved myself about 6 weeks of watching someone I loved turn into a stranger with my last name. I set the bag down on the counter. The plastic crinkled loud in the quiet bathroom. 10 minutes. Just sit. Eat with me before you go. Food's gonna get cold and you know how the noodles get when they sit. I promised Lisa I'd help her pick out bathroom tiles for the guest bath renovation. She's completely overwhelmed with all the options, and you know how she spirals when decisions pile up. She specifically asked for tonight. The word promised stretched out like taffy. Too deliberate. Too defensive. Like she was building a fortress out of one sentence. She reached for her bag sitting by the door. Already packed. Already zipped. Keys visible in the side pocket. Lipstick I didn't recognize poking out of the top. That bag had been ready before I even walked through the door. "You nervous about something?" I asked, keeping my voice level. Not accusatory, just observational. She laughed. Too fast. Too high-pitched. The kind of laugh that breaks in the middle because there's no real humor behind it. "About bathroom tiles? Please. You're being weird." I watched her slip on shoes she'd bought 3 weeks ago. Shoes I'd never seen her wear. Not to work. Not to the grocery store. Definitely not to coffee with Lisa. Black leather heels with pointed toes and a thin ankle strap. The kind you choose when someone's going to be looking at your legs. Looking closely. Appreciating the view. Those weren't tile shopping shoes. Those were impress someone shoes. "Text me when you're headed back home," I told her. Simple request. Basic courtesy between two people sharing a life. Why? Are you my dad now? Do I need permission to see my friends? The defensiveness came out sharp enough to draw blood. That was new too. We'd never had that edge before. Not about simple things like letting each other know when we'd be home. "No, I'm the guy who bought dinner specifically because you mentioned wanting Thai yesterday. I'm the husband who'd like to know when his wife's coming home." That's it. Nothing complicated. She pulled the door open with her shoulder. Still wouldn't make eye contact. "Don't be so dramatic, Kevin. It's just coffee and girl talk." "You act like I'm committing a crime." The deadbolt clicked behind her. Tires on the driveway, engine starting. Headlights sweeping across the living room wall, before disappearing down the street. The house went quiet in that funeral home kind of way. Not peaceful, just empty. The absence of sound where there should have been conversation and laughter, and the TV playing something neither of us cared about while we ate on the couch. I stood there for a solid minute, holding a bag of Thai food that was already getting cold. Then I walked to the Kit Wakonski table, set out 2 plates out of habit, used one. The other sat there empty and accusatory, a physical representation of every plan that just got canceled without my input. I ate alone. The noodles tasted like cardboard, mixed with broken promises. Scene 1 opened right there, quiet and unremarkable, and I didn't even know I was watching the beginning of the end. Kit Wakonski table, 2 plates, 1 used, 1 clean, 1 napkin crumpled, 1 napkin folded, the visual representation of a marriage running on 2 different operating systems. The message was clear as highway signs. I started with patience anyway, because that's what grown men do when they still believe in the foundation they built. That's what you do before you realize the foundation's got cracks running through it like spider webs. When she got back close to midnight, I was in the garage sorting tools, just keeping my hands busy with something that made sense. Socket wrenches don't lie. Drill bits don't make excuses. They either work or they don't. Simple. Honest. Unlike whatever was happening inside my house, she stepped into the garage with her phone face down in her palm like it was evidence at a crime scene, like she was protecting a witness from cross-examination. You're still awake? It's late. I've got an early shift tomorrow. Told you to text me when you were leaving. Never heard from you. I kept my voice even, conversational, giving her space to do the right thing without pressure. I forgot. The time just got away from us. Lisa's place doesn't have good reception in the basement anyway. No, you didn't forget. You decided not to send a text. Those are different things. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought she might sprain something. Can we seriously not turn a coffee date into some federal investigation? Lisa's going through real problems with her ex and his new girlfriend situation. I was being a good friend, supporting someone who needed me. Then you're absolutely her hero for showing up. That's great. You always do that condescending thing whenever I have any kind of life outside this house. Like you need to approve every conversation I have with my friends. I'm not being condescending. I'm noticing patterns, connecting dots, paying attention to changes in routine that didn't used to be there. What patterns? She set her bag down on top of the washing machine like it weighed 50 pounds. Like she needed to put it down before she could continue lying effectively. Your sudden Tuesday coffee tradition that started 6 weeks ago. The nervous energy every time you're getting ready. The defensive tone when I ask simple questions. Getting dressed like you're going to impress someone at a business meeting. Not drink coffee with Lisa, who's seen you in sweatpants 100 times. Coming home late without a single text. That pattern. That whole constellation of new behaviors that appeared out of nowhere. She stared at me, face flat as a dinner plate. Expression locked down tight. It's completely innocent. You're making something out of nothing. Good. Perfect. Then you can respect my time enough to send one text. Not asking for GPS coordinates or a full itinerary. Just basic courtesy. New rule effective immediately. If you're going to be out late, you tell me where you're going and approximately who you'll be with. Quick note. 30 seconds of your time. That's all I'm asking for. I don't report to you like some employee punching a time card. You're absolutely right. You don't report to me, but you partner with me. Or you don't. Those are the options. I'm not running a house where I'm the only one who knows what's happening. I don't do ghost shifts. I don't do mystery theater. I don't sit here wondering if my wife's coming home or if something happened to her. She crossed her arms, jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. I'm not some teenager with a curfew. I'm a grown woman. Then this should be the easiest thing in the world. Grown people communicate. They give their partners basic courtesy. They don't disappear for 4 hours without a word. She didn't answer, didn't agree, didn't disagree. Just stood there in those ridiculous heels she'd never worn around me before, staring at the concrete floor like it held answers she wasn't willing to share. Then she walked inside without another word. Bedroom door shut hard enough to rattle the frame. Water ran in the bathroom. The shower lasted 25 minutes. Long enough to wash away whatever she thought needed washing. I went to bed on my side and left her the rest of the ocean. Put my phone on the nightstand where I could see the screen. No goodnight text. No apology. No acknowledgement that anything had shifted. She gave me the full silent treatment for 3 days straight. Every single answer came out half a syllable. Fine. Sure. Whatever. Maximum distance packed into minimum words. Eye contact became a limited resource she rationed out like wartime supplies. I kept my voice calm and my schedule cleaner than ever. Stopped reaching for her shoulder when I passed her in the hallway. Stopped asking about her day. Stopped trying to fix something that apparently didn't want fixing. I moved my evening routine out to the garage. If she wanted distance, I'd give her enough to build a whole subdivision. Friday afternoon brought an invitation to our neighbor Brian's backyard cookout. His annual summer thing. Burgers on the grill. Hot dogs for the kids. Paper plates with watermelon designs. Red cups. Potato salad that someone's aunt made using a recipe from 1987. The whole neighborhood small talk circus, where everyone pretends to care deeply about lawn fertilizer schedules and property values while making small talk about nothing. I figured being around other functioning couples might help. Maybe seeing normal interaction in the wild would remind her what that actually looked like. Maybe being in public would put things back on track. Wrong on every single count. She stayed glued to her phone the entire time we were there. I'm talking physically present, but mentally checked out to another zip code, thumbs moving in constant rhythm, like she was typing a novel one text at a time. A human metronome tapping out messages to someone who definitely wasn't standing in Brian's backyard eating questionable potato salad. I watched her from across the patio while pretending to care about Brian's explanation of his new lawn aeration system. She'd look at her screen, smile, type something back, wait 10 seconds, smile again when the response came through. The whole cycle played out like clockwork, while she stood there physically in attendance, but mentally somewhere else entirely. I was standing by the grill with Brian, having a pointless discussion about charcoal versus gas, like it was the most important debate in human history, when Brian's wife Monica appeared at my elbow. "She doing all right over there?" Monica asked quietly, tilting her head slightly toward my wife, who was still absorbed in her phone. "Just asking because she looks kind of distant, like she's here, but she's really not here at all. You know what I mean?" "She's fine," I said. The automatic response. The default answer. Because that's exactly what men say when their whole world is quietly falling apart at the seams. We say fine and good and all okay until the day we stop saying it and start actually doing something about the situation instead. Monica gave me a look. The kind married women give when they see straight through the nonsense. "Kevin, I've known you guys for what, 4 years now since you moved in across the street? That doesn't look fine to me. She looks like someone who's got one foot out the door and just hasn't told you which direction she's planning to run yet." I didn't have a good answer for that. Monica was absolutely right, and we both knew it. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. Wasn't ready to admit that my marriage was turning into performance art. Lisa arrived fashionably late wearing a denim jacket despite the heat and sunglasses that probably cost more than my monthly truck payment. Her laugh could shatter bulletproof glass from 50 yards. She made a direct beeline for my wife, practically ran across the yard, hugged her like she was extracting a prisoner of war from hostile territory. Didn't even glance in my general direction. Didn't wave, didn't nod, didn't acknowledge my existence as a human being standing 10 feet away. That told me absolutely everything I needed to know about what version of events had been playing on repeat during those mysterious Tuesday night coffee sessions. I was definitely the villain in Lisa's version of this story. The controlling husband, the unreasonable man, the guy who didn't understand his wife's sophisticated emotional needs, the caveman who couldn't appreciate how special and misunderstood and complex she was. Later that afternoon, near the cooler where the drinks were slowly transitioning from cold to disappointingly lukewarm, my wife finally moved from her spot by the fence. First time she'd shifted position in over an hour. She came by to grab something to drink. I saw my opportunity and took it. Kept my approach simple, non-confrontational. Just asking a straightforward question that married people who actually like each other should be able to answer without drama. "Are we good?" I asked. Direct, simple. 4 words. "We're fine," she said immediately. Automatic response, defensive tone. The same exact word I'd given Monica earlier, but with even less actual conviction backing it up. "That's not what I asked you. I asked if we're good. Us. This marriage. This whole situation we've been living in for the past 2 weeks." She popped the tab on a seltzer can. The carbonation hissed out like a warning signal. "Can you please stop being so intense all the time? It's absolutely exhausting being around you lately." It's not intense. It's basic communication between two people who are supposed to be life partners. If you want nights out with friends, that's completely fine. Schedule them. Tell me about them before you walk out the door. No drama required, no arguments necessary. Just simple adult clarity about where you're going and approximately who you're seeing. That's literally all I'm asking for here. Brian's eyebrows shot up from 15 feet away. He definitely heard that exchange. So had Monica, and probably half the people standing near the grill area. My wife noticed immediately. Her smile got thinner than tissue paper. "Oh, so we're doing public relationship rules now?" she said, voice absolutely dripping with sarcasm. "You want to announce my complete social schedule to the whole neighborhood while we're at it? Maybe print up a newsletter? Public clarity saves time and prevents unnecessary misunderstandings later. Keeps everyone on exactly the same page." She scoffed, hard and loud. "You seriously don't trust me enough to manage my own schedule like an adult?" "Nope. I trust mine completely. I know exactly where I'll be and when I'll be there. I own my time. I don't loan out my evenings to mysterious question marks and coffee dates that somehow run until midnight without a single text." That landed like a brick through a windshield. I saw it register in her expression. The slight widening of her eyes. The tightening of muscles around her mouth. The flash of something that looked almost like panic before she locked it down. She looked over at Lisa with a clear help me expression plastered across her entire face. Lisa pretended to become absolutely fascinated by examining a paper napkin, like it contained the complete secrets of the universe written in barbecue sauce. We ate. The conversation moved on. The guys stood around the grill arguing about playoff predictions and which teams were actually legitimate contenders this year. Someone brought up last season's championship and the controversial referee call in the fourth quarter. I took a phone call from my warehouse foreman Danny about Monday morning's lumber delivery situation and let that call run significantly longer than strictly necessary. It wasn't some tactical move. I wasn't trying to prove a point. It just genuinely felt better talking to someone who communicated in straight lines and honest answers, instead of elaborate verbal mazes specifically designed to hide basic truths about where they'd been and who they'd been with. When we finally got home around 7 that evening, something shifted in her demeanor. She softened in a way I hadn't seen in over a week. Her face lost that hard edge it had been carrying. The defensive walls came down just a fraction. That was the intermission before the main act, though. The brief moment of calm before the actual storm hit. I didn't have the proper language to describe what I was seeing until much later, when I could look back with clarity and understanding. I didn't realize I was watching someone practice their next carefully calculated performance. She stood in the doorway to our bedroom, with her hair loose and flowing around her shoulders. Not the tight, aggressive ponytail from earlier. Softer, more approachable, more like the woman I'd married 3 years ago. Her voice came out gentle when she finally spoke. "I heard what you said at Brian's place, about time and courtesy and being clear with each other about schedules and plans. I've been thinking about it all afternoon. You're right." I looked at her carefully, trying to read what was actually happening behind her eyes. "Okay, this past week has been completely messy on my end. I recognize that now. I should have handled the whole coffee situation so much better than I did. Should have told you about what Lisa was going through instead of just announcing I was leaving and making you sit there with takeout you bought specifically for us. Lisa really did need my support, but I could have communicated that to you like an actual adult. Lisa always needs something from somebody," I said, keeping my voice even. "She's got ongoing drama the way some people have houseplants. Constant, daily, requires regular attention and maintenance just to keep it alive. That's not entirely fair to her, Kevin. It's completely accurate based on 4 solid years of close observation. She manufactures crises when things get too quiet. But you can continue with what you were saying." She sat down carefully on the edge of the bed, hands folded neatly in her lap like a kid who just got called into the principal's office, and was trying her absolute best to look properly remorseful. "I've been carrying around so much stress lately. Work's been absolutely insane with the new inventory system rollout and the training schedule. Then there's my mom's whole health situation with her hip replacement and all the physical therapy appointments I've been driving her to twice a week. All of it's been weighing on me pretty heavily. I know I've been distant and short with you, snapping at small things that don't deserve that kind of response. You didn't mention feeling overwhelmed or needing some breathing room," I pointed out. "I would have made adjustments, given you space to handle everything without pressure. But you didn't ask for that. You just started systematically disappearing, without any kind of explanation or heads up." She bit her lip in that specific way she does when she's thinking about how to phrase something difficult, looked down at her hands for a long moment before meeting my eyes again. Full display of remorse on her face. Either genuine or the most convincing performance I'd ever witnessed. At that moment, I honestly couldn't tell which one it was anymore. "Let me make this up to you properly. Dinner tomorrow night, somewhere actually nice. Just the two of us at a table. No phones allowed anywhere near the conversation. I'll plan the whole thing. Make a reservation. My treat. Complete reset." I nodded once. Short. Definitive. No elaborate discussion required. "All right. Do that then." She slipped one hand onto my knee like she was carefully planting a white truce flag on disputed territory after a long territorial war. I held her gaze for what felt like a full minute and let the silence do all the heavy lifting that words couldn't properly manage. We fell asleep that night with a solid 2-foot demilitarized zone, stretching between us and a fragile peace treaty that absolutely nobody had bothered to actually sign in writing. She did plan dinner exactly like she promised. Made a reservation at a small bistro downtown that had just opened a few months earlier. The kind of place with exposed brick walls and Edison bulb lighting, candlelight flickering on every table, chairs that wobbled slightly no matter where you sat, overpriced appetizers that looked like tiny works of abstract art arranged on oversized white plates. The menu had descriptions longer than the actual food portions. But here's the thing. She was genuinely present that night, not physically there while mentally somewhere else. Actually engaged in the conversation happening across the table. We talked like functional adults who actually liked each other. She asked detailed questions about Danny's new kid and how his wife was handling the sleep deprivation. Laughed at my story about the forklift incident at the warehouse last Thursday, when Jimmy nearly took out an entire pallet of drywall. Her laugh sounded real. Not performed, not calculated, just genuine amusement. When the server finally came around with the check in that little black folder, she reached across the table and put her card down first before I could even think about pulling out my wallet. "Don't faint from the shock," she joked, actually smiling. "Noted for the record books. I'm keeping receipts on this historic moment." On the walk back to where we'd parked the car 3 blocks away, she slid her arm through mine, made physical contact voluntarily for the first time in what felt like weeks. The night air was cool. Streets relatively quiet for a Saturday. Almost felt normal. Almost felt like the marriage I thought I'd signed up for. "See?" she said quietly. "We're fine. Everything's fine when we actually make time for each other like this." "We're on significantly better behavior tonight," I corrected carefully. "That's not exactly the same thing as actually being fine. You always need there to be a problem lurking somewhere, don't you?" "No. I need mutual respect and basic honesty. There's a difference." She didn't answer that directly, just held onto my arm a little tighter as we walked, made a point of not letting go until we reached the car. Sunday afternoon arrived with perfect weather for outdoor work. I spent most of it up on the ladder fixing the gutter system on the south side of the house that had been sagging for about 2 months. One of those tasks that keeps getting pushed to next weekend until you finally just do it. She made brownies while I worked. My absolute favorite kind with the extra chocolate chips folded into the batter. Brought me a generous square on a paper napkin along with a cold glass of water when I came down from the ladder to move it to the next section. Illusion, Part 1. Performance, Act 2. It tasted exactly like apology carefully mixed with long-term strategy. "You know, you're actually sweet when you're being quiet like this," she said, voice carrying a hint of amusement. "Quiet's efficient," I replied, taking another bite. "You hear better when you're not filling every silence with noise." Monday morning rolled around and brought normal routine with it. Coffee brewing at 6. Headlines scrolling on my phone while I ate. 2 adults moving through the Kit Wykonski on basic autopilot. I grabbed my thermos from the counter and my lunch bag from the fridge and headed out to start my shift at the warehouse. Around mid-morning, Danny asked if I wanted to catch the big college basketball game at Riley's on Wednesday night. First time he'd invited me to something midweek in probably 6 months. I didn't even hesitate. "Yeah, absolutely. I'm in." That was initiative number 2, slowly taking shape. Time and freedom started belonging to me again, instead of being held hostage by someone else's mysterious schedule. That night at home, she was on the couch with her laptop. I sat across from her with my invoices and a mug of coffee that had gone lukewarm. A text buzzed on the coffee table. Her phone lit up. She reached for it a beat too late. The screen faced me for a full second. "Hey, same spot as last time. 7:30. I want to see you. No name on the preview, just a first initial. J." She froze. Then she swiped, locked the screen, set the phone on a coaster like it was radioactive. "What was that?" I asked. Calm to calm. "Nothing. A text at 7:26 with a time and a location isn't nothing." She stared at the blank TV screen. "It's a coworker. He's going through a divorce. Needs advice. I'm just being nice. Men don't ask married women for nighttime advice. They ask lawyers or their buddies." She inhaled like she was trying to inflate a life raft. "It's not like that." "Like what?" "I have to go." She stood up suddenly, looking around for shoes she'd kicked under the coffee table. "Lisa needs me. Lisa needed you 10 minutes ago when it was quiet. Now there's an emergency." She grabbed her keys off the hook by the door. "You wouldn't understand. Try me. She's having a panic attack about her ex showing up unannounced. I told her I'd come over." I didn't blink. "Text her. Tell her to call someone local. You're not driving across town at night for someone who has a full contact list. You're being controlling." I'm being awake. She left anyway. Slammed the door. Tires on gravel. Gone. I sat there for a solid 10 minutes, staring at the spot where her phone had been. Then I stood up, walked into the bedroom, and opened the drawer where she kept old notebooks and random charging cables. Her tablet was there. Same Apple ID, same cloud, same messages. I opened it. The thread with Jay went back 6 weeks. 53 messages, photos, plans, compliments that made my stomach drop like an elevator with cut cables. "You looked incredible tonight." I couldn't stop staring. "When can I see you again?" "Thursday's too far. I think about you constantly." "This is crazy, but I don't want to stop." Her replies were worse. Enthusiastic, flirty, detailed. I felt the same way. "I haven't felt this alive in years." "Thursday can't come fast enough." "Same hotel?" "He doesn't notice anything anymore." "I'm invisible at home." I screenshotted everything. Every message, every photo, every plan. Sent them all to my email in one long digital convoy. Then I put the tablet back exactly where I found it. I didn't yell. Didn't break anything. Didn't call her. I called a locksmith. She got home at 11:47 p.m. I know because I was watching the clock like it owed me money. She came through the door smiling, relaxed, hair a little messier than when she left. Lisa's okay now. We just talked for a while. She needed to vent. Good, I said. You're not mad? Nope. She blinked. Really? Really? I'm going to bed. You coming? Yeah, give me a minute. I went to the bedroom. She stayed in the bathroom. Water ran. 25 minutes. When she finally came to bed, I was facing the wall, eyes open, heart rate steady. She fell asleep in under 10 minutes. I didn't sleep at all. Tuesday morning, I left for work early. Called my buddy Trevor, who does estate planning. Told him I needed an emergency consult. He cleared his afternoon. I brought printed screenshots, bank statements, the deed to the house I'd bought 2 years before we got married, the truck title in my name, business paperwork for my LLC that owned the equipment I used for contract work. Trevor looked at everything with the calm focus of a guy who'd seen this movie 100 times. This is clean, he said. House is yours. Business is yours. Joint accounts got maybe 12 grand. You pull half before you file, it's fair game. She can argue, but she won't win. What about her stuff? Anything she brought in, she takes out. Furniture she bought, same deal. But the big assets are protected. You're in good shape. How fast can we move? I can have papers ready by Thursday. You want to serve her yourself or use someone? I'll handle it. He nodded. You're calmer than most guys in your spot. I'm past the angry part. I'm in the building phase now. He slid the folder across the desk. Then build fast. Wednesday, she texted me at work. Going out with Lisa again tonight? Dinner and a movie? Don't wait up, I replied immediately. Sounds good. Have fun. She sent back a smiley face. A smiley face. I forwarded the text to Trevor. He sent back a thumbs up. That night, I went to Riley's with Danny and watched the game. Ate wings. Laughed at bad commercials. Felt lighter than I had in months. Around 9, Danny asked if everything was good at home. Getting there, I said. He didn't push, just nodded and ordered another plate of fries. I got home around 10:30. Her car wasn't in the driveway. I went inside, grabbed a duffel bag from the hall closet, and started packing her clothes. Not everything. Just enough to get her through a week. Shoes, toiletries, the jewelry her mom gave her. I wasn't trying to punish her. I was trying to make an exit smooth. I set the bags by the front door. Then I sat on the couch and waited. She got home at 11:52 p.m. She walked in humming. Saw the bags. Stopped. What's this? I stood up. Your things. Why are they packed? Because you're leaving. Her face went white. Then red. Then something between confused and furious. Excuse me? I pulled my phone out, opened the screenshot folder, and held it up so she could see the first message. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I found the tablet, I said. Saw everything. The hotel. The compliments. The plans. All of it. Kevin, don't. I'm not interested in explanations. I'm not doing the crying scene or the apology tour. I'm done. She took a step forward. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You've been running a side operation for 6 weeks. Maybe longer. Doesn't matter. The point is, it happened. And now you're out. You can't just kick me out. This is my home too. Actually, no. It's my house. My name on the deed. Check the county records if you want proof. You've been living here as my wife. That status just got revoked. She laughed. It came out bitter and sharp like broken glass. You're insane. I'm efficient. We can fix this. I made a mistake. I was lonely. You've been distant and cold, and I didn't know how to talk to you. You talked plenty, just not to me. I walked over to the small table by the door and picked up a manila folder. Handed it to her. What's this? Divorce papers. Already filed? You've got 2 bags packed. Locks get changed in the morning. If you need anything else, coordinate with Trevor. His number's on page 2. She opened the folder with shaking hands, flipped through the first few pages. Her jaw clenched. You planned this. I responded to your plan. You just didn't tell me about yours. I never wanted a divorce. You wanted the adventure without the consequences. I'm giving you both. Tears started. Real ones this time. Not strategic. Actual panic. Where am I supposed to go? Same place you've been going on Tuesday and Thursday nights, or Lisa's, or your mom's? Honestly, not my problem anymore. She set the folder down and tried a different angle. Softer voice. The one she used when she wanted me to fix something. Kevin, please. Can we just sit down? Talk this through like adults? No yelling. Just us. You had weeks to sit down and talk. You chose motels and lies instead. I didn't sleep with him. I didn't ask. Doesn't that matter? Not even a little. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, mascara smudging. You're throwing away years over a few messages? I'm protecting years of work from someone who stopped respecting them. Big difference. You'll regret this. I regret not doing it sooner. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Then she grabbed the first bag, struggled with the weight, set it down, grabbed the second one. What about the savings? The furniture? You can't just take everything. Read the paperwork. I'm taking what's mine. You get what's fair. More than fair, actually, considering how you spent the last month and a half. You're going to leave me with nothing. You traded something priceless for attention from a stranger with a first initial. That's on you. I pointed to the folder again. Page 3 breaks it all down. It's generous. More generous than your last 6 weeks of performance art. You're a monster. No, I said. I'm a man who learned to stop explaining basics to someone who wasn't listening. She stared at me the way people stare at road signs when they realize they're real. Then she tried one last tactic. Voice like sugar poured over gravel. Can we please just sit for 10 minutes? No phones, just us. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you what really happened. You deserve that. I deserved honesty 2 months ago. What I'm giving you now is closure. She opened her mouth to launch another round, but I raised my hand. Enough! We stood there, silent, a full 10 seconds. Then she finally picked up both bags, awkward and heavy, and stepped onto the porch. The night swallowed her whole. No dramatic music, no slow motion, just taillights and gravel and the sound of an engine fading into distance. I set the second copy of the folder on the hall table. Then I said the last thing I'd ever say to her as a husband. You went looking for something else. This is your only path now. Good luck with it. I closed the door. The new lock would be installed by noon tomorrow. The chain rested easy. The house exhaled. I didn't. The next few days were not peaceful. That's the lie people sell when they talk about clarity like it's a spa weekend. Reality is louder. She called from numbers I didn't recognize. Used Lisa's phone, her mom's phone, a blocked line that hit me 3 times at 3 a.m. I let voicemail do the catching. She left long messages that started with apologies and ended with threats. I didn't listen to most of them. At work, Danny looked at me over a stack of plywood. You good? I'm busy, I said. Busy's better than stuck. Lisa showed up at the house one evening, marched up to the fence like she had a warrant. You can't just throw her out like that. Do you know how that looks? People talk. I leaned against the fence post. People would talk if I let her keep running plays behind my back. At least now they're talking about something real. She's heartbroken. She's resourceful. She'll land somewhere. You're cold. You keep confusing calm with cold. She huffed. She told me you were always like this. All about yourself. I was about us. She was about a rotating audience. You're impossible. And you're dismissed. I walked back inside. That was my public boundary. Simple. Witnessed. Done. The divorce walked itself forward because I put it on rails early. Numbers got tallied. The house stayed mine. I'd bought it before we got married. The warehouse equipment was paid through my LLC. The savings account got split down the middle, legal and clean. She tried to argue about furniture, gifts from her family, a coffee table her sister gave us. I kept everything documented. Offer, counter, signature. No meetings at coffee shops to talk it through. No late-night phone calls to negotiate feelings. I treated it the way you treat a merge on the highway. Stay in your lane. Keep moving. Don't look back. My neighbor, Mrs. Wikonski, caught me by the mailbox one afternoon. Big changes, she said. Her tone had compassion in it, not gossip. Necessary ones. She nodded. Peace will come, not first. But it will. She was right about the order. It didn't come first. I kept my routine clean. Work, errands, evening walks. I stopped cooking for 2. Stopped leaving space on the couch for someone who wasn't coming back. When friends invited me out, I went. Didn't ask permission from ghosts. One night, Danny dragged me to trivia at the bowling alley. A woman named Vanessa sat across from me, asked about my truck, called me out when I misremembered a state capital. She worked in logistics. Sharp, funny, no agendas, just oxygen. I didn't make promises, just said yes to coffee the following week. That was enough. My ex didn't let go easily. She left notes in the mailbox like we were in middle school. Tried to corner me in the parking lot of the grocery store. Started with, can we please just talk? And ended with, you owe me an explanation. I told her the same thing every time. I gave you the truth. You got it in writing. The rest is paperwork. The day the divorce finalized, I didn't throw a party. Didn't post about it. Just went to work, put in a solid shift, and drove home on roads that looked the same but didn't feel like a loop anymore. I parked, sat for a minute. Let the silence be exactly what it was. Just silence. Not a standoff, not a punishment, just the sound of a life that was mine again. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.